Hello, my name's James and I'm a third year Sound for Media student at London Metropolitan University. I'm going to be showing some of the projects that I've been doing for the past 3 years, as well as some freelance work that I've been doing aside from that. For the projects for the university, obviously there were limitations and rules about how sound was designed and what was used to create the sound. So for instance, all of the sound you hear for the university projects were created by primary sources, which means that I recorded all of the sounds myself without using any sort of sound library. Obviously for this project the main aspect was the rocket launch, and that was probably the most fun part of the whole project. I took a very sort of realism point of view from it, as the sound is designed in a way that gives you the illusion that you are standing 10 feet away from a rocket launch. You'll be able to hear this from the intensity of the sound. The sound was created by blowing into a microphone about 5 separate times and then processing it slightly different each time. This included pitch shifting it down, equalizing it, creating different tones. What I like about this is that the sound is created so simplistically, yet the sound that you hear is so powerful. With this low frequency noise I also created some high frequency noise, or middle frequency noise. This was created from a hairdryer, and instead of blowing I sucked in air, which created a similar sound to a jet engine. It gave it a lot more power and it gave it more of a spread across the dynamic range. And here is the rocket launch from start to finish.
14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, ignition sequence started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Okay guys, we got it. Come on, baby. Come on.
Altitude on the line. Velocity right on the line. Roll complete, we are pitching.
13, stand up, call one more.
Bio, how we looking? Looks good, flat, right down the middle.
We see your BP3 is clear, 13.
Roger, EDS to manual, and board. Get ready for a little jolt, fellas. Tower jet. Houston, this is 13. We got a center engine cut off. Go on the other floor.
This next project was a group effort. It required us to produce a film and then do all of the sound design. Of course, with the sound design being our priority, we designed the film around what we could do with the sound. We picked the genre of a psychological thriller / horror. That gave us a lot of room to work and make really weird and interesting sounds, and we could really be creative. A general overview of the story is about a man who partakes in drug trials, which have a very obscure effect on him. leaving him to have weird mental hallucinations. And obviously during these hallucinations we could create some very, very interesting sounds. For instance, this one I recycled my rocket sound from the previous project and used it as an earthquake. Other sounds included putting a vocal track through a number of different guitar effects. This gave a very obscure, weird kind of sound, which we used for a lot of the horror aspects. For the finale we used a range of sounds, obviously because this would be the climax of the film. And in this scene there's layers of white noise, screams and other very weird sounds to give it that real horror effect.
And look what you did.
Fix bayonets.
This next project required me to create a radio drama, or otherwise known as a Hörspiel. This means that I have to tell a story purely from sound without the use of music or narration. The story is taken from a first-person perspective and it's about the storming of a trench during World War I. Once again, because the sounds need to be primarily created by me, all of the gunshots and all the bombs that you hear are done using various processes.
Alright, let's go, come on!
The machine gun is created by snapping a belt, as well as adding some low frequency noise to give it a fuller sound, as well as reverb so the gunshots would ring out once the gunshot had stopped. The shells were designed by whistling, which created the incoming sound, and then the initial explosion was created by a brief blow into the microphone, as well as scattering sesame seeds and dirt over a plate, which created the sound of the debris falling from the bomb. At this point, an explosion hits near our protagonist, and taking influence from the film Saving Private Ryan, all his hearing gets obscured, and a high-pitched noise is heard to resemble a concussion.
Come on, we need to go, let's go, come on.
Finally, this next piece of work was my first freelance job. It was produced for a digital animation company in New Delhi, India. This short film was about a car race. There were a number of different camera angles and camera movements which I could really play with the sound and give it a realistic point of view, meaning wherever the camera was is what the car would sound like from that particular position. After sifting through a number of different car sounds, I eventually found the correct ones, which I believed suited the cars well. At this point, using equalization, I used the same car sound. This was done by narrowing down its dynamic range. The second car in the short film needed to be differentiated from the first car. This was done by giving it a higher pitched engine. This way when the two cars are racing next to each other, you can differentiate them from one another. And that's all the work that I have for you on here. If you're interested in looking at more of my work or seeing the complete videos that were shown in the showreel, just check out my YouTube and they're all there, along with 2 different versions of the car film, one of which has a musical soundtrack to it. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation.